First, obviously, GF, and we kind of went over this in the last counter one, but man, we want to double team at the point of attack. Perfect world. We got 4 eyes on the backs. They have play side A, but they're getting a double team and 4 eyes to the backside backer, or any pressure this guard gets, he's got a gap. Center's going to block back. Might be a 1, might be a 3, might be a 2. Some people hate getting back to a 3. We master in gap scheme, so our centers are used to that. I get some teams that don't master in gap scheme. That's a hard block. We don't mind it. Our guards, we're going to kick that guy out. We're not going to log. We don't talk about logging early on. We want kids that are going to aim for his inside shoulder, the V of his neck, and they're going to kick out. We feel like, hey, if they're going to wrong arm really take this on, it naturally logs out, right? If you get a physical kid. Now, during the season, we talk about logging, but we want to get downhill, and we want to kick that guy out. Tackle or fullback, who's ever pulling through. Right now, we're talking GF. Tackle stays at home. He's got backside B to C. He's going to hinge step. He's got B to C. A lot of times, if nobody comes, he'll end up taking the end, but he's going to step B, hinge back. Fullback is now hugging that double team, looking inside out. The running back, whether it's GT, GF, doesn't matter. His aiming point is inside leg of the guard. He's going from A to B to C, right? But he's following that fullback in a perfect world. That's versus 4-2-3-3. Same thing, man. We want to get this guy. Some people ask, he's got B gap. If that guy's head up or outside, we're going to try to get inside of it. We'll get bigger splits. We want to step down and get to that mic, but he's got that play side B. If he's in a 3 tech, if he's in a 4 eye, he can block him down. Now our double team is with the guard and center, right? We can set the center back if we don't want to read it. Obviously, we got a tackle here staying home. We can double it. We're going to double back to the backside A. So we're still getting a double team. We're still getting 4 eyes on that gap. And we're getting a 4-eye vertical double team to that backside inside or backside stack backer. Again, guards kicking out. Fullbacks rolling through on the double. It's a little bit tighter. We don't talk about the tailback. His aiming point doesn't change. Might naturally be tighter in a 3-man front. We go over it, but we don't change his path. 3-4, one thing I love that we've done for a long time, used to be a rule, is kind of we can tag it, but it used to be a rule is we will arc release on the outside backer in a 3-4. If he gets any B gap pressure, he's going to block down, and this is power or GT. He's going to block down, but if he doesn't, he is going to arc. So now the center guard doesn't change. They got a double. They're back, double, 4 eyes on the backer. Guard's kicking out to the same person he was. Tackles hinging B to C, fullback is now B. What happens a lot of times, if you get a lot of these guys playing games and you always block down, guard kicks out. Well, this fullback's not used to seeing that quick kick out either. So that's a tough block for him. And so out of the fullback position, it's a little bit easier than a tackle or a tight end, say, pulling and doing it. But I do like this influence block. Why we needed a fullback tight end. So like I said, from 2005 to probably 2008, we really didn't have a tight end fullback. And so teams I went from a pro style quarterback, kid went to Western Illinois, we didn't want him to run at all, to a kid who ended up being a Tim Tebow type. He wasn't Tim Tebow, but he was that type of kid, to a runner. Well, what happened was in 10 personnel is teams were dictating to us who they wanted to run, right? When you don't have a fullback or tight end in the game, they can really dictate to you, man, do we want your quarterback to run? Do we want your running back to run? Are we going to give you a give-pull read? And if you don't, a lot of times we were short in the run game. So the best way for us, we thought, was to bring that fullback tight end in the game. And now we control that a little bit more. We have the pen and paper last, kind of. And then after that kid, he went to Purdue in 2009. I had a kid in 2010, Wes Lunt, ended up going to Oklahoma State, starting as a freshman, and then played in Illinois next 3 or 4 years. But he was also not a runner per se. And so we felt like that fullback tight end, it was really good for non-running quarterbacks. And this was at the time. Now we use it for both. Doesn't matter if you're a runner or good, but at that time, we could dictate the running game a little bit more out of the gap scheme for a non-running quarterback. Gave us a lot of different looks to run GT, GF, and we've really grown upon that the last 15 years. We run it every way possible, and just a ton of different looks, and it gives you different looks when you have that fullback tight end. Sometimes two fullbacks or tight ends per se, whether you're 11, 21, 12 personnel. Option, when you have that fullback, it wasn't always just power read, right? You have a true power game, you have a kick out power. So we ran a lot more power and GF when we had that fullback tight end. Obviously GF out of the counter game. We became, probably in 2011 and 12, we really started adding the buck sweep. Went to Vanderbilt, heard Coach Hand speak. He sat down with me one afternoon, and man, I learned it. And it fit our gap scheme perfectly. And so now we have pin pull with the power, with the counter. So that, you got to kind of have a fullback tight end to do a lot of that stuff, obviously. And so that gave us a lot more in our running game when we added and we started having those type of kids. And then obviously gives a more of a play action, 6-man, 7-man, selling the gap scheme, selling the stuff. It gives us more of a play action with those fullback tight ends. Fullback rule. So man, when we have a fullback or tight end, our backside of with our fullback, his base rules is he is going to stay and block the end just like that backside tackle would stay. So he has base rules, no matter where he's at, right? And some years it changes. If we have a running quarterback, we will tell that backside fullback he will arc, and we will always read the end. Now we can tag him to stay, but the day one summer rules is if we got a guy again that can't run, he doesn't run well, we might stay until we tell him otherwise. If not, same thing. If he's to the front side, he has certain rules he's going to do. Tight end, same thing, which we'll go over these in a minute. To the point of attack, if we're running to the tight end, he will have certain rules and what we call the summer rules. So he's rather going to block down or he's going to arc depending on what look he has defensively. And then same thing, tight end away from the play. He's going to have certain rules. He's going to cut off. He can arc. We don't arc as much backside. We usually stay, but man, we also pull the tight end through. So these guys, we try to give them summer rules day one, but we can tag the opposite of those rules on any play. So fullback, man, if we're running away from him, again, and we have a running quarterback, we can, obviously counter doesn't change, we can pull and we can read him. Some people are now doing this with a motion guy, and we do that too. We can do it from over here, we can do it this way. But we're still reading the end, and he's your arc. He's your quarterback run guy. If the quarterback pulls it, he's finding this alley guy or the guy who's ever responsible for quarterback. We give a stay call. He can stay from any of these positions. He can stay from here, right? We can run counter away, and we're telling that quarterback, you don't have to read anybody. We don't have to read anybody at that front level, right? He'd say he's not a runner. We want to RPO something. We can account for everybody at the first level, keep that fullback here, and we can still, and again, the rules don't change for any of our 5-0 linemen. Same thing with tight end. Our tight end rules are pretty simple. If you're not both covered up, if we don't have a head up 4, 5, and a 9, right? 3-4 look or a 5 and a 9 look, then we are going to arc to the safety if it is away from you. I'm sorry if that's wrong, incorrect. If it's away and we want to read the guy, he can arc. Same thing as a fullback, he can read. Now the quarterback can read, and we do that a lot of times with guys that can run the ball quarterback wise. But we can keep that read. We can also do a stay call, just like the fullback. If we don't want, he can cut off. Now he's cutting off. He's still B to C. He's got to really hinge and get over to that B to C. But we do both. Now, tight end, if we're running two, this is what I was talking about a minute ago. I messed up. I apologize. If they're not both covered, we will arc. So if we don't have a 5 and 9, if we don't have a 4 and a 9 tech, right, we are going to arc, and we're going to treat it just like we don't have him, basically. Right, I like that influence block, especially with DNs that get their hands on the tight ends. And all of a sudden you get that arc, and hey man, we seem to ear hole that a lot, and I like that. If they're tight 5s or other things, doesn't matter as much. Now we can give them a down block, but we have to call it, we have to tag it. But our day one summer rules are if you're not both covered, tackle tight end, you are going to arc release to the play side.